हेलो सर।
हेलो बेटा योगिता, हाउ आर यू?
गुड मॉर्निंग सर, फाइन।
ठीक है, शाबाश बेटा, बेस्ट ऑफ लक।
थैंक यू सर।
ओके,
सर आवाज ठीक आ रही है?
आवाज ठीक आ रही है बेटा, बिल्कुल सब कुछ सही है। अपना माइक तब तक ऑफ कर लेना, जब मैं बोलूंगा आपका नाम तब माइक ऑन कर लेना।
हाँ हाँ, ओके सर, ओके।
बेटा ओके, शाबाश।
हेलो,
मॉर्निंग सर, हाउ आर यू?
आई एम फाइन, वेरी गुड मॉर्निंग। अभी हाँ, कैसे?
बहुत बढ़िया सर, आप प्लीज।
ओके, अच्छा, इसमें ये था कि पहले तो मैं अपना ये जो पावर पॉइंट है इसको शेयर करने के लिए मैं आपको स्क्रीन शेयर पहले उसको खोल के रख दूं स्क्रीन पे, उसके बाद शेयर करूं, यही है ना?
हाँ, तो आप खोलें सर, फिर स्क्रीन शेयर ऑप्शन करें तो आपकी हमको, हाँ प्लीज आराम से। अभी इट इज ओनली यू, मी एंड द रिपोर्टर, सो नो प्रॉब्लम्स एट ऑल। आई हैव नॉट ब्रॉडकास्टेड इट टू द एंटायर ऑडियंस।
ठीक है, ओके ओके। इसमें मुझे कैलेंडर जो आपने लिखा ना, प्लीज डाउनलोड एंड इंपोर्ट द फॉलोइंग आई कैलेंडर फाइल्स टू,
उनकी जरूरत नहीं है सर, उनकी जरूरत नहीं है।
क्या है उसमें? नहीं, अभी तुम्हें कुछ नहीं करना है, तुम्हें कुछ नहीं करना है, कुछ नहीं करना। इसमें आपकी पिक्चर एक मिनट, ये इसको मैं फुल स्क्रीन पे कैसे लाऊंगा?
यस सर, विजिबल नाउ, हम आपकी स्क्रीन देख पा रहे हैं, द बिल्डिंग इज देयर।
अच्छा, ये लेकिन वो नहीं देख पा रहे हैं क्या?
अब ये आप प्रेजेंटेशन देख पा रहे हैं सर? बिल्कुल
प्रेजेंटेशन नजर आ रहा है?
बिल्कुल आ रहा है सर, बिल्कुल आ रहा है। द फर्स्ट स्लाइड, ऑनलाइन रिसोर्सेज फॉर रिसर्चर्स।
ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है
Yes.
ठीक है, फाइन। तो मैं उसको प्रेजेंटेशन के समय पर केवल इसको मैं
स्क्रीन शेयर ऑन करिएगा सर। अब आप स्क्रीन शेयर ऑफ कर दें, फिर जब आपको करनी होगी तो सिर्फ स्क्रीन शेयर ऑन करिएगा सर।
ठीक है, उस वक्त केवल स्क्रीन शेयर, एक मिनट, इस पर ये आपका एक्चुअली जब मैं इसको ऑन किया तो आपका जो पिक्चर है साइड में एकदम टॉप में चले जा रही है।
हाँ, हम लोग सर जब हम ये ऑन कर देते तो वी गो ऑन द साइड, ओनली योर स्क्रीन इज विजिबल टू ऑल द अटेंडीज।
ठीक है, उसके बाद मैं वापस अगर इसको स्क्रीन पर लेके आना चाहूँ तो फिर क्या करूंगा मैं इसमें? ये
स्क्रीन शेयर को ऑफ कर दें सर, स्क्रीन शेयर ऑफ करें।
लेकिन स्क्रीन शेयर तो मैं ऑफ तब करूंगा जबकि आपकी ये पूरी पिक्चर मुझे नजर आएगी। मीटिंग कंट्रोल्स, अच्छा कहाँ स्टॉप शेयर ऊपर जो लिखा हुआ है?
स्टॉप शेयर कर दें सर, बस। नाउ इट्स ओके। अब इमीडिएटली व्हेन यू स्टार्ट स्क्रीन शेयरिंग अगेन तो आपका स्क्रीन आ जाएगा सर।
चलिए मैं एक बार और ट्राई करता हूँ।
प्लीज 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 सर, प्लीज।
अभी आ रहा है?
ये सर आ गया
ना?
हम लोग साइड्स में चले गए और स्क्रीन पे सामने हो गया सर।
ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है।
अब आप स्टॉप करेंगे तो हम लोग बिल्कुल मेन आ जाएंगे सर। यस,
ओके ओके, थैंक यू।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू।
अच्छा, आपने वो पंकज खरे साहब को भेज दिया ना?
या मैंने भेज भी दिया सर उनसे टेलीफोनिकली। आई हैव जस्ट हैड अ टॉक आल्सो। अच्छा,
आपके पास उनका नंबर है?
ना, मैंने आरडी सर से ले लिया था सर। आई इमीडिएटली सर, आई डू एक्शंस इमीडिएटली सर।
अच्छा, वेरी गुड। Okay, okay, ठीक है।
I had a talk with RD sir. I took a number from him. I have emailed him on both the emails, pankajkhare@gmail.com as well as pankajkhare@ignou.ac.in sir.
Okay, okay. वो एक्सपर्ट है एक्चुअली इन चीजों का। अच्छा हाँ, ओके ओके ओके, हाँ हाँ ठीक है, ही इज देयर। हेलो हेलो।
गुड मॉर्निंग अमित, गुड मॉर्निंग उमेश जी, कैसे हैं
हाँ
आप?
मैं ठीक हूँ, गुड मॉर्निंग सर।
थैंक यू फॉर
अच्छा।
गिविंग मी द लिंक, आई हैव जॉइंड हियर।
ये डॉक्टर संजीव महाजन है जो आपको स्क्रीन पे नजर आ रहे होंगे।
हाँ, उनका मैं कृतार्थ हूँ कि उन्होंने मुझे मौका दिया और लिंक भेजा।
हाँ मैं उनको ये कहना चाहता हूँ कि इस सब्जेक्ट में बोलने के लिए सबसे ज्यादा उपयुक्त व्यक्ति डॉक्टर पंकज खरे ही हैं हमारे
अरे
विश्वविद्यालय में।
नहीं सर, आप हैं, मैं तो केवल सुनने के लिए आया हूँ। आज बड़ी इच्छा हुई कि उमेश जी, अमित जी को सुनूं।
नहीं,
और
मुझे
सकलानी जी
मुझे
भी दिख
आप
रहे हैं
मेरे
मुझे।
मेरे इन चीजों में जो भी एक्सपर्टीज है वो बस लोगों से सुनी सुनाई है। तो मैं आपसे विशेष आग्रह रहेगा कि जब मैं बोल लूं तो आप मेरे जितने बहुत सारे गैप्स होंगे उनको फिल कर दीजिएगा।
नहीं सर, हम तो आपको सुनेंगे और मुझे मालूम है कि आप बहुत अच्छा बोलेंगे।
नहीं
और प्रयास रहेगा कि अच्छा करके आप नाम रोशन करें इग्नू का।
वेलकम सर, वेलकम उमेश जी।
हाँ थैंक यू सर, कैसे हैं आप?
और पंकज जी एक भी बहुत बहुत बधाई और वेलकम टू पंकज खरे जी, उमेश पांडे जी, संजय महाजन जी,
थैंक यू, थैंक
convener
यू।
of this program. And we are organizing, sir, I would like to inform you that we are organizing 7 days workshop on research methodology. And it was started from 9th June and inaugurated by the Honorable Vice Chancellor of IGNOU and the Honorable Vice Chancellor of CCS University Meerut. And it was a wonderful program. And initially on the first day, Professor Chaudhary has given a keynote address, and Professor Patnaik, the Honorable Vice Chancellor of Utkal University, was also with us, and he gave a special lecture on the quantitative analysis and the research methodology. And we are delighted that we have Dr. Umesh Pandey in stalwart, and Professor Pankaj Khare, Director Planning of IGNOU. And yeah, this is a wonderful, I hope this will be a wonderful session. A morning session will be, all the research scholars will be benefited about this program. Welcome sir, welcome sir.
डॉक्टर पांडे, डॉक्टर पंकज खरे जी को मेरा नमस्कार।
हाँ हाँ सकलानी सर नमस्कार।
नमस्कार नमस्कार।
नमस्कार सर।
संजीव महाजन जी।
A very warm good morning to one and all present here. It's our pleasure that we have with us Dr. Umesh Pandey, Regional Director, IGNOU Regional Center, Bhopal, who is an expert speaker for the present session. It is our also proud privilege that we have with us Dr. Pankaj Khare, who is Director Planning and Development, Indira Gandhi National Open University. I welcome you on behalf of IGNOU Regional Center, Noida, and Department of Sociology, NAS College, Meerut, who is the host to this 7-day national workshop. Now I request Yogita, a research scholar and School of Education, DAVV University, Indore, the participant of this national workshop and a rapporteur for the present session, to please present a brief profile of Dr. Umesh Chandji. Umesh Pandey. Yes, Yogita.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, all of you. I, Yogita Kamal, JRF from School of Education, DAVV University, Indore, welcomes you all. It is a great honor for me to introduce and welcome our today's speaker, Dr. Umesh Pandey. Dr. Umesh Chandra Pandey initially joined IGNOU as lecturer in physics in January 1990, and since then has been serving the university in various capacities at regional center Shimla, Delhi, Jammu, Khanna in Punjab, Jabalpur, Bhagalpur, and currently at Bhopal. He was promoted to the post of Deputy Director in 1999 and Regional Director in 2011. Dr. Pandey looked after some of the major collaborative ventures of IGNOU like Rajiv Gandhi project of EduSet supported elementary education during 2005-2006 and Gyanvani radio station Jabalpur during 2005-2008. He went on deputation to work as Director of Knowledge Management in a School of Good Governance and Policy Analysis, Government of Madhya Pradesh, Bhopal in 2008, where he worked till 2010. Dr. Pandey has extensively published researk work in high energy physics in various journals of international repute and currently pursuing his research interest in distance education. On a final note, he is also a fascinating individual and we are grateful for his presence among us today. Without any delay, I request Sir to share his expert opinion on online resource for research, some do's and don'ts for researcher. On behalf of IGNOU Regional Center Noida, NS College Meerut, convener Dr. Sanjeev Mahajan and all gathered here, I welcome you, sir. Over to you, sir.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, Umesh sir, please.
Yes. Very good morning, Dr. Amit Chaturvedi, Regional Director, IGNOU Regional Center Noida, Dr. Mahajan from NES College Meerut, my other colleagues, Dr. Pankaj Khare, Dr. Saklani, and all other colleagues from different organizations and dear participants. And just a minute. My presentation, as the reporter just now said, that it will be little different from what she said. And I know that most of the participants who are there, actually they have a sociology background. This is what I could see from their profiles. And therefore, I think that I should make this presentation a little oriented to their requirements. And first of all, I would like to raise I would like to develop a background in which actually what I am going to speak makes a sense. Friends, we are living in a society where knowledge is exploding. The knowledge doubling time in our times is in single digit for most of the disciplines. And what is more important is that the knowledge gets obsolete equally fast. As you might have heard, that in the field of computers, the knowledge which the student learns in the first year of his study gets obsolete by the time he or she passes out of his 4 year of BTech program. This is the case in most of the other disciplines.
Sir, your mic, please unmute your mic. Yes, sir.
Is it on?
Yeah.
So how much you could
No,
listen?
just now it got muted, sir. Just now. It's okay.
Okay. Just a minute, please. So what I was saying was that we are living in a knowledge society, and therefore our requirements and the internet has come up in a very big way, where it has affected the way we do research. I know when I used to study in the universities, that time internet was not there, the emails were not there, and the people used to go to the libraries to note down their abstracts in small cards, and which they used to keep with them. And that was altogether different kind of research environment. But now things have changed quite a bit, and therefore the way we do research also has to change, and our researchers have to respond to these new requirements. And we have to be acquainted about a lot about the intellectual property rights of fellow researchers who are there across the world. And now since the collaborations are taking place in a very big way across the world, things have changed quite a bit. And so we are living in what is called knowledge society, as I told you. So knowledge is a resource now which sells like a product sells. It can help us earn livelihoods. It can take the people out of poverty. And therefore, there is a need to democratize knowledge, make an easy access to knowledge. And as long as we can do it, we will not be able to build up in inclusive society. As the concerns for sustainable development goals have emerged in a very big way, these issues have become even more important. Therefore, role of research has come to the forefront of the development. So fast processes of accessing knowledge are now required. Traditional system of manually accessing the knowledge cannot work in today's society. And management of a growing body of knowledge is a major issue of concern for us now. As knowledge base of the society is increasing, the scientists, interdisciplinary research is coming to prominence, and the people are looking for the best specialists for research collaborations across the world. International collaborations are becoming important. Internet technology has the advantage here, in the sense that it can help us disseminate, access, and share knowledge fast. As internet can share at remarkable speed, protection of your intellectual property rights have become a major issue. Internet has created an unprecedented opportunity for sharing of knowledge, which has helped us to generate knowledge very fast. What is more important is that we can share knowledge unimaginably at very low cost. Textbooks are becoming irrelevant, and web-based repositories, web-based libraries, and other knowledge products have taken their place. The way knowledge is exploding, we will not be able to manage it without the use of internet at all. Using internet for research is no longer a matter of option now. It is a compulsion of the age we are living in. Whereas new opportunities for sharing of knowledge is a blessing for us, we should not forget that in such a scenario, issue of intellectual rights have become a major concern. As a researcher, you need to be aware about it. You might have attended the lecture by Professor S.P. Garg, in which he taught you about the issue of copyrights and the recent guidelines of UGC in this connection. I will go a step ahead on this matter and will tell you about a system of licensing which gives you freedom to use web-based resources of certain kinds on which licenses are there without any copyright violations. And this is very interesting. And you need to have a proper understanding about these issues while your work with web-based resources will be doing. So this is basic background actually, in which I want you to understand the things. You are a student of sociology, and I think you know it very well that what kind of role knowledge plays in the society. And while I will be speaking further, the first thing which you should now try to find a solution about why knowledge should be considered a public good. I want all the students to try to understand whether knowledge is a public good, whether it should be considered a public good, or whether it should be considered a private property. And then write down your responses in the comment box. We will try to discuss on this issue because this is a very important issue. And as a student of sociology, I think you can give some very good answers to these issues. So this was the first point which I tried to tell you. And second is, now as the Bill Gates has said, that power comes not from knowledge kept, but from knowledge shared. It sounds very interesting, as he said, that knowledge, if we think that this is the knowledge which we have generated and we will keep it with us, we will not allow anybody to build up upon the knowledge which we have created, then obviously that is not the kind of society we are heading to, which we need actually. And therefore, when we are talking of the entire world is talking about the inclusive societies, entire world is talking about democratization of education. We have 17 sustainable development goals on which we have a sustainable development goal number 4, which talks about democratizing education, which talks about the quality education, and therefore role of sharing knowledge, role of enhancing the access to knowledge has become a very big issue. In this context, these kind of licensing are going to play a very important role. Paris Declaration 2012, I think most of you might be knowing that in Paris Declaration, it called upon all the governments of the state to make the educational institutions funded with public money to release their digital content under open license so as to make them available and accessible to one and all. I think it makes a lot of sense to the kind of world we are living in. That old notions of copyrights, which take into consideration that knowledge is something called a private property, it has to die out with time. And that is something very important, as there is a big movement going on across the country, world now, then important realization going on that knowledge should not be taken as a private property. And this movement is picking up very fast and in today's world, and therefore this open licensing system is picking up fast, and you as a researcher can get benefited out of it. Copyright, as Professor Garg also said, that what is copyright? It is basically a collection of exclusive rights which we give to the creator to protect their original works. That was traditionally people used to view copyrights, and copyright holder has a kind of exclusive right to control publication, distribution, adaptation of work for certain period of time, after which that work enters into public domain. And after how many, what kind of how many years that work will come to the public domain will depend upon the respective country's copyright law. And for different kind of knowledge products, that time will be different, but ultimately it has to come to the public domain. But while that work is, those rights are with the copyright holder, then till such time this he or she has exclusive rights to control that knowledge. Quite in present days world, this kind of old notions, I think they have to change. This is personally what I feel, and I would like to get the responses from the participants also. What do they feel about this old notions of having right over the knowledge which we have created? I personally feel that the knowledge which we create, actually we build up upon something we get from the society. It is not something of our own, and therefore when we build up upon it, we should not be having that kind of a right over that what knowledge product we have created, and we will not allow other to further build up upon it. So it is quite a matter of argument even now. And second is that it is an incentive to authors, and I think this is something which makes a lot of sense to many people. And they say that if you don't give those kind of economic incentives to the people to have rights over their intellectual property, then they will not be motivated to build up knowledge. Though there are many studies in which the people have said that this is not the case. Many studies have also said that people are not motivated to generate knowledge because they have economic incentives. They generate knowledge because of their own personal motivations also. So these are all issues of argument. People do a lot of research on why do the people generate knowledge, and what kind of, how do they get incentivized and all. But and third is that these copyrighted materials, generally they cannot be allowed to put on internet. Generally means not always, because many people, their copyrighted material, they don't allow it to be put entirely on the internet, and they sell it. So these are the traditional kind of these conventional ways of having rights over the knowledge which we create. And but there are certain exceptions to some extent. There are exemptions also in traditional copyright law of different countries. Different countries have different kind of copyright law, but by and large they are the same. And Professor Garg might have told you about this also, that there is a fair use doctrine also, and it's a principle that permits limited use of copyrighted material without acquiring permission from the right holder. The nature of the copyrighted work, the amount and substantiality of the portion taken, and the effect of the use upon the potential market are the factors of analysis outlined in the copyright law. This is a US copyright law in which this fair use doctrine is there, and means you can utilize to some extent without taking the permission of the copyright holders. But it is all subjective interpretations are there. Means if you use it, and if the copyright holder disputes that, and if the copyright holder says that no, you have taken substantial amount, substantial portion of my material, then the court has to take a decision on this. So there is no way to guarantee that your use you will qualify as fair. And you can read this source, what is fair use, by this attorney at law, Stanford University Libraries, and it's quite a very good kind of interpretation about the fair use doctrine. and you can see that source from where I have taken this. So people, this fair use doctrine actually doesn't give that kind of space to researchers to use somebody else's knowledge to further build up upon it. They, to what extent it will be called fair is not very clear, and it is all a matter of interpretation. So again, not very means something which cannot help you as a researcher. Though people use somebody people's copyrighted work, but many times these kind of disputes arise. So open education has been a kind of a major shift in our perception about knowledge. There has been a big shift in the way we view knowledge during the past around 2 decades, I will say that, because this major development started in 1998 when a Stanford University professor, um, uh, uh, his name was Lawrence Lessig, and Eric Aldred. These two persons actually moved the court of law. And in that connection, actually, they then further, when they lost their case in the court, and then they started Creative Commons. But before that, you have to understand this. This openness in the sharing of knowledge, open education movement, actually, this is a major shift in our perception about knowledge. It is a simple and powerful idea that the world's knowledge should be considered a public good. That is definitely, people give so many arguments in favor or against it, but I too feel very strongly that world's knowledge cannot be taken as a private good in a very strict terms. It should be considered a public good, because it is not like other kind of properties. It cannot be treated like other kind of properties. When suppose you have got a pen and you give it to somebody, so you will not have that pen with you. But this is not the case with knowledge. Now, if you have an idea and if you give that idea to somebody else, both of you will be having an idea, one idea. So knowledge doesn't grow like in traditional, like any other material object grows. And then it is everybody has right over your knowledge, because it automatically comes into public domain. The way, the moment you create it, it doesn't remain in your head all the time. It becomes a knowledge only when it comes out of your head and when it comes out in public domain. It is quite interesting, as Bertrand Russell had said, that if you have an idea and you give that idea to others, so both of you will be having one idea each. Quite that gives a altogether new perspective to the way we view knowledge, and that the technology has now played away. That is obviously that kind of whether knowledge is public or private good. This debate has been going on for quite some time. But as internet technology has come up in a very big way across the world, and we have during the past almost 2 decades, that the internet technology has revolutionized our way of thinking about this, because it has created kind of a situation where definitely knowledge has to be viewed differently. It cannot be viewed in a traditional sense, and that technology in general and the worldwide web in particular, it provides an extraordinary opportunity. It provides an extraordinary opportunity for everyone to share, use, and reuse knowledge. That is something very important, because it's the internet, it is the technology which has created those conditions when we are now talking about knowledge as a public good. That is very interesting, because this entire scenario has been created by technology development, and which has forced us to change our views about this. Creative Commons, actually, as I told you, that now we are shifting from all right reserved to some right reserved, because earlier copyright law used to say that, you might have seen in the textbooks and your research papers also, that all rights reserved means the person who has created the knowledge has all the rights with him. You are not allowed to use that material, further build up upon that, or share it with anybody else. So from there we are now moving towards some rights reserved, and that is what is the idea of Creative Commons. And it started with, as I told you, that Sony Bono Copyright Regulation Term Extension Act in 1998, when the US government tried to implement it. Means they had to actually, I think, I don't remember exactly, but they had to actually extend time after which the work comes to the public domain. It was about, I think, about 20 years they were trying to extend the that time after which the copyright works come to the public domain. And in that connection only this Stanford University professors, and they went to the court, they lost it there. And but that after that they created this Creative Commons, a non-profit organization. And the basic idea of the Creative Commons is that this Creative Commons licenses are not against copyrights. Basically, if they are about the free sharing of knowledge and to build up upon knowledge, and to that is about to share knowledge and creativity and reuse of the work, to facilitate even those who want to put their work in public domain even before expiry of copyrights, and to make the best use of internet for dissemination of knowledge. These are the most means to 4 types of major areas in which the Creative Commons showed their concern. It talked about several kinds of provisions or licensing systems. Creative Commons, it advocated for different kind of licensing system, and these licensing systems have gained a huge popularity across the world now. And the first type of license, which is called attribution, means this license is a very flexible kind of a license, which if somebody releases his publication under this license, that means this license lets others distribute, remix, adapt, and build upon your work, even commercially, as long as they credit you for the original creation. Means the original copyrights are with the creator only. The only thing is that you get a liberty to distribute, remix, adapt, or build up upon their work. And this is the most accommodating of licenses which are offered under Creative Commons system. And it is recommended for maximum dissemination and use of licensed material. You can see the Creative Commons .org, and this website tells you details about the licensing systems of Creative Commons. And this is something, this kind of license, if you find a material on the web under this license, then you need not worry about this. The only thing is that you have to give credit to the person who has created that particular research work. And once you acknowledge that person for that research work, means you are allowed to freely code, cite, remix, adapt, build up upon that work, even commercially. Quite interesting, even commercially you can do it, and you can do it for free. Second type of license is called attribution share alike. You might have seen in many such knowledge products that CC BY SA. This is CC means the Creative Commons, and then BY means you have to attribute that work while quoting. You have to attribute that work, means you have to cite that person, original creator's name. You have to acknowledge or give reference of that person that he is the original creator. And share alike. Share alike means this kind of a system says that if you are taking that work of such if you are taking that such a research work and you are incorporating your thesis or wherever, then in your research paper, then you have to release that work again under share alike system. It means you have to allow others also to use it like share alike system. This license lets others remix, adapts, and builds upon your work even for commercial purpose. Means for commercial purpose also you can use it, but you have to use it under share alike only, as long as they credit you and license their new creation under the identical terms. And the license, you cannot say that if you have taken somebody's work which is under CC BY SA, and once you further develop and create a new knowledge product, you have to cite that person's name, and you have to acknowledge him, and you cannot say that now I will not allow anybody else to use this and it is my copyrighted material. You cannot say that. You have to release it under identical terms. And this license is often compared to copyleft free and open source software licenses. All new works based on your work will carry the same license. So any derivative will also allow commercial use. And this is the license used by Wikipedia, for instance, and is recommended for material that would benefit from incorporating content from Wikipedia and similarly licensed material. And third is CC BY NC. If this kind of is license you find on any research paper, which means that this license lets you remix, adapt, and build up upon your work non-commercially. NC means non-commercially only, and although their new work must also acknowledge you and be non-commercial, and don't have the license their derivative work on the same terms. So you might have got it. And then similarly, the attribution non-commercial share alike BYNCSA, it means this license lets others to remix, adapt, and build up upon your work non-commercially, as long not NC means non-commercially, SA means share alike, BY means you have to attribute under the identical terms. And then there is one more kind of license which is called attribution no derivative. It is quite interesting in the sense because now this kind of a license doesn't allow you to create any derivative work. It gives it is BYND. It is very restrictive. It means it doesn't give you much of the freedom. You can only attribute that work. Suppose you are writing a research paper and it is and the work is like a BYND. It means that you have to you can use that work, but attribute the work to that person who is the original creator, but you cannot create a derivative work out of it. Suppose there is a film or a video created by some organization, and if you want to create a derivative work, means suppose you want to dub it in a different language, so that kind of a derivative work you cannot create. You can use it, share, but you cannot, you have to attribute it. License allows you to reuse the work for any purpose, including commercially. However, it cannot be shared with others in adapted form. You can reuse this work, including commercial purpose, but you cannot share it with others in adapted form, and credit has to be provided to that person. So that puts a lot of restriction on the way actually. And attribution non-commercial no derivative. This kind of a licensing system says that you can use this work, you can attribute that work to the original creator for non-commercial purpose, but you cannot take a derivative work out of it. Derivative work, you understand, derivative work means you cannot change it. This license is the most restrictive of our 6 main licenses and only allows others to download your work, share them with others as long as they credit you, but they cannot change them in any way or use them commercially. So these are the licenses, and the 2 licenses which are very restrictive means in which the ND term comes, means non-derivative. It means those licenses don't allow you to take derivative work. But all these licenses, Creative Commons licenses, are very useful for you as a researcher, because you can use them for your research citations, and if you approach the author for any further relaxation, and because he or she is the copyright holder, you can approach them for more kind of relaxation. But under Creative Commons, you get only this much of relaxation, because that is the declaration which the author himself has given, that this is what for this much of whatever license they have mentioned on it, for that much you don't need to approach them for any permission. For any extra permission, you can always approach them, and some of them might give you permissions, but as per the licenses mentioned on their work, only this much. And this is CC0 tool. It provides is a kind of all rights granted. CC also provides tool in all the right granted space of the public domain. Sometimes what happens is that, suppose I've created a knowledge product and I don't want it to be copyrighted at all, and I want to straightway put it into a public domain. That can also be done. And Creative Commons helps to manage this kind of licensing system. You can always approach Creative Commons for getting those licenses, and they give you this kind of licenses and for your work. And sometimes once you are if you are a copyright holder, and once this work comes to the public domain, then after that copyright doesn't make any sense. So but Creative Commons, sometimes before the copyright term expires, before that also people may like their work to come to the public domain. So then this kind of a licensing is given on it. So you can see it. I've taken it from Creative Commons, and what you see is that under different kind of licenses, different degrees of freedoms are there for you to use it, and the most restrictive is what is there at the bottom of it. And license selection tools. Suppose you want you have created a research work, you have developed a knowledge product, and then you want to give kind of Creative Commons licensing to it. How do you go about it? for this, you can go to this Creative Commons website, and you can find this CC license selection tool there, and you will be able to see it very easily. You can do it, and there is kind of a online system from where they will ask you about whether you allow your commercial use of your work. You can say yes or no. It asks you about whether you allow modification of your work. You can say yes or no, or you can say that yes, as long as others share alike, or jurisdiction of your license you can mention, and then another window is opened, and then you can write about the work which you have done, their basic details of that work, and then it automatically that gives you, and then you get a license for this. So first thing which I want to make it very clear here, that don't think that Creative Commons is some kind of organization which is legal organization, and they protect you, and it's not a kind of it is a non-profit organization which only facilitates you to get these kind of licenses, and it doesn't even keep track of your work. Means suppose somebody has released his work under Creative Commons, it is not Creative Commons organization's duty to keep track of their work, what is that they are doing, what kind of problems people are facing. But the only thing, at the time of actually publication, you can take this kind of license from their website, and then use it on your paper only. And once you see this kind of a license on your paper, then it is irrevocable. Once you take this kind of a license from Creative Commons organization, and suppose you have released it under Creative Commons, after that you can't say that no, I don't want it to be, I want to revoke it. That is not possible. All these details are there on the Creative Commons website. There is a huge database of frequently asked questions there, and you can see them very easily. You will be able to understand the various rules which are there. There are some of the basic questions which I found very interesting, and you can see Creative Commons website, very elaborate answers are given there. And a small question which might be coming to your mind, suppose in my paper, suppose in my whatever you are developing a video, or you are whatever audio or printed work, or whatever you are doing. So means, can you remix two different kinds of licensing system? So under that kind of a license system, you can not mix two licenses in which one of them is, say, non-derivative. So you can see this chart, and the horizontal row, there are different kind of licenses they are mentioned, and the vertical row again, and you can see that what kind of licensing system can be mixed with what kind of system. And you can, obviously, if one of them is non-derivative type, you cannot mix it with other. So that is what you have to see, that two different kinds of knowledge products and knowledge licenses, if you are mixing with each other, one of them should not be non-derivative kind of. And in this context, the kind of licensing system which just now I told you, and very interesting paradigm shift has taken place across the world, that is about the open educational resources. And this new concept, and this new I will say that it is kind of a major shift in the educational resource development across the world. And certainly you can say that it's a paradigm shift. So what is called open educational resources? You might have heard a lot about this this term during the last at least 10 to 15 years. This term has been very popular. Open educational resources are basically the resources which are under Creative Commons licenses of these kinds, on which this green color tick mark is there. These kind of licenses which are under non-derivative kinds, they are not Creative Commons licenses. Means BY type of Creative Commons licenses, BYSA, BYNC, BYNC-SA. These four types of licensing system gives you huge space, huge freedom to utilize.
Sorry to disturb you, sir. Sir, if we are not able to see your screen, if you could share it.
Oh, SA. For how long you have not been able to see it?
I thought you will on it, sir, but now I got a call that we are not able to see your screen, sir. Yeah. You forgot to on it, sir. On it. Share screen, sir.
Just okay. How many slides you have not seen?
We could not see, sir. We could not see. I thought you are going to on it in between when you start up with licenses and all, but we could not see it.
Oh, is
No
it?
problem, sir. We can see it from here, sir. This chart we want to see, sir, surely.
Is it okay? So
Yeah,
please
now
tell me the moment this goes out of you can tell me.
Sure, sir, sure,
Okay.
sir, sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
so now about this creative, I can show you some of these other slides if you want. Earlier slides also I can show you quickly. I can show you because if you have missed them, obviously. Some of the initial slides you might have seen. Hello. Hello.
We could not see, sir. I thought you'll be opening it when you'll be starting up with licenses, but you were talking so engulfed in the presentation that you forgot to start up with your screen sharing, sir. Yeah, we'll continue, sir.
Achha.
Yeah.
Achha, okay. Doesn't matter. So
Just
I will
go quickly through the slides and reach to the present one.
Yeah.
Achha. Okay, fine. So this is creative commons licensing. If you can see it on the screen, then this basically 4 types of licensing. On which this non-derivative work is not, ND is not mentioned. They come under open educational resources. Open educational resource, as I told you, that this is a major shift in our perception towards the knowledge. And therefore it is means where the people are advocating in a very big way about for sharing of knowledge or sharing of knowledge products, developing upon these knowledge products created by different people across the world. That is something which is required also. As I said, that we are living in a knowledge society. How fast people can generate knowledge, how fast they can build up upon the existing system of knowledge is something very important. And if the human society has to progress on these lines, certainly without developing on the existing knowledge fast, and now internet is a big opportunity before us. So this kind of a knowledge sharing system, and which gives the people freedom to build up upon the knowledge, is certainly a huge paradigm shift. And what are knowledge open educational resources? And quickly I will say that this is the definition given by UNESCO in 2002. In fact, the entire thing started, this was the first time when this word was used, open educational resources. As I told you earlier, that Creative Commons licensing system started in '98, and after that, immediately, since the open courseware movement was going on in MIT when they had hosted their online repository first time, after that, this open educational resource movement started in a very big way. It amounts to, it says that teaching, learning, and research material in any medium, digital or otherwise, and digital or otherwise. It says that even print material can be open educational resources, but very rarely you will find, very rarely means, I think it is, you might not have seen at all any kind of a print material based on Creative Commons licensing, because that is not possible because of the cost involved. Because when you develop a material in print form, obviously huge cost is involved, and they're possible to freely disseminate them and allow for free use of it. So therefore mostly they are digital, but there is no such condition that they cannot be other than digital. So as per the definition goes, teaching, learning, and research material in any medium, digital or otherwise, that reside in public domain or have been released under an open license that permits no cost access. No cost access is very important, means they don't bear any cost, use, adaptation, and redistribution by others with no or limited restriction. So this is the definition, which makes it very clear that how important are the open educational resources, amount of huge access which they provide to the people. And therefore, as these sustainable development goals are becoming coming to the prominence, and the people are now this under SDG 4, and this open education resource movement has picked up very fast. Improvised definition 2011. This definition slightly improvised, and it says that material used to support education that may be freely accessed, reused, modified, and shared, which includes all those on the educational object, and which helps in the acquisition, processing, preservation, retrieval of information at a later stage. So that is slightly modified. And 5 R's are very important here, which is that it retain, reuse, revise, remix, redistribute. These are the 5 R's which clearly categorize these open education resources, as their definitions also clearly say. And then second is that people quite sometimes, they get confused, because open education is a word which has been in prominence for quite some time, and people generally confuse whether OER is open education. And sometimes people think that open education, open learning is OER. It is not that. Open education resources are the resources. They are not the same. You should not confuse between open education and OERs. They are not the same. OER can support open learning or open education, and OERs are the resources basically which are freely available to support learning. And therefore open education is different. Open education requires systematic analysis of assessment, student support, curriculum framework, and all these kind of things. So open education is a system of education, whereas OERs are the resources. Benefits of using OERs, and that is the improvement. First thing is that how it helps us. Quickly I will go through these points, and let me tell you that improvement cost which is shared by the community. When OERs are developed, means open educational resource, means suppose you how interesting it is. You develop a resource and then you release it under Creative Commons licensing for as OER, and then the whole world starts building up upon your knowledge. And if you are a real researcher, if you are motivated by generating your desire to generate knowledge, obviously it's a huge incentive for you, because the whole world who are interested, all those people who are interested in your work, they will further build up upon you, your work, and give you due credit for this. And they will give you credit for being the original creator, and they will further refine. So that is what this knowledge society needs actually. And that's why these OERs are so important in present day's economy. It is now the OERs are linked to the whole question of this economic development across the world. Is the whole, they are helping us to develop an inclusive society. It is not a simple question of developing a resource. Now it has hugely helped the policy planners across the world to enhance access to knowledge. And as Commonwealth of Learning has been working in such a big way for OERs, and now they are, so 1.4 billion documents are available online, which as a researcher you can use them. So this is, to my mind, quite interesting development. It accelerates content development and peer review of content. As your work undergoes this process of further development, and the peers across the world, they further build up upon your knowledge, they review your work so fast, and then obviously as a researcher, it's a big incentive for you. It is, I think, one of the biggest incentives which a real researcher has these days in the present day society. And then it reduces distribution cost. Internet can easily enable a fast dissemination. When internet was not there, as I told you, that time open educational resource movement could not have been possible at all. This kind of, so now since internet is there, this is one of the biggest blessings which the internet has given us, to share our work and further build up upon that work, and the entire global society, the entire global academic community builds up upon a piece of work and develops it to that kind of level where it becomes perfect piece of work. And then building an inclusive society, as I said, and it helps the creator to further build up upon his creation, is to share with the students and institutions. Through internet it is easily possible. Opportunities to improve teaching, and commercial textbooks are now very expensive, and that is a very important point, because seeing this increasing cost of textbooks, because textbooks are now the cost of textbooks are increasing at 4 times the rate of inflation, and that makes that it has created the kind of huge crisis, cost crisis, means the people can't buy now textbooks, and therefore they become so expensive that it has started negatively affecting the studies of the people. Ordinary students cannot even buy those textbooks, means poor students cannot even buy those textbooks. I personally find it so difficult to buy a textbook having such a huge cost. So under these kind of circumstances, OER have come up as a big kind of opportunity for us. This and then there have been studies which clearly say that OERs are as good as textbooks as far as the students' achievement is concerned. In fact, most of the teachers and students find them much better than textbooks. OERs can support classroom education, obviously, and not all the people in the world have access to classroom, access to quality learning material. So therefore, these OERs have become a very big opportunity for everybody. And now, how can OERs make MOOCs more effective? Now, as the MOOCs, all of you might be knowing. But if as the OER movement is picking up, the development of MOOCs have become so easy, because you can easily utilize them for developing MOOCs. So free availability of quality content is there, and then teachers have more time available for them for management, for managing the things, and they get the quality content easily. And that's a very big opportunity. If you want to develop a MOOC, you look for good quality open educational resource and develop a MOOC. And therefore, this is a very big opportunity for you as teachers, because most of you who are here, they are basically teachers also. And how do you find OERs on the web? How do you find OERs on the web? There are different kind of search engines, and people can find them through Google also. You can Google custom search engines, so you can easily find them through advanced search. It asks you about what kind of resource you need, and means a resource of what kind, means which allows you to what extent, means all those details you can fill up there, and then you can Google search it. And there are other search engines like OER dynamic search engines. You can go to the Creative Commons website also. From there also you can search. And this Joram, OCW Finder, OER Commons, Timo Expert, all these kind of search engines are there, which myself have not, all of them I have not checked, because but some of them I have checked. And about Joram, I have seen that it was not active, that link was not active. You can again check it up. But these are some of the ways you can find OERs on the web. Suppose you are doing research on certain things, say you are working on, say, social movements, and you want some good quality OERs on social movements. So you can go to these search engines and find out how many OERs are there on your topic. And you will get millions of such records. And these are some of the ways, these screenshots of the concerning websites where you can, from where you can search them. This OCW Finder, OER Commons, OER Dynamic Search Engine, and sharing your own OERs. Means suppose you have a OER and how you can share it with others. Then I told you earlier also that you can share it through different links across, and then this portion of my presentation was about OERs and the Creative Commons licensing system. So just to sum up what I said so far, and the time okay. So what I said just now is that OER is a very big movement across the world in the field of education. And most of the researchers who are part of this conference, they might have experienced problems using resources. But I have seen that most of the researchers actually are not sensitized about copyright itself. And that is one of the reasons why they don't understand why OERs are so important. So first thing, friends, all the students who are here, they have to be well acquainted about this copyrights first. They should understand what the copyright law says, and they should very clearly understand that to what extent a copyrighted material can be used. Once they understand copyright law, then only they will understand the use of this freedom which they get under Creative Commons licensing system. And they should very clearly understand that now we have very huge repositories of open educational resources on the web, which are a very big opportunity for them to utilize them for their research work. This gives them freedom, and they don't have to be scared about copyright in that case. The only thing is that they have to attribute the work to the creator. And then second part, I think it should be very clear to you. We can further discuss upon what I said so far. And we have with us here Dr. Pankaj Khare also. He has been an authority on this Creative Commons licensing and OERs. So we have got the benefit of his being here with us today. And quickly, I want to go through some of the resources which I find very interesting. And I think that initially I had planned my presentation for this only actually. And that is about what kind of knowledge about the online resources which all these researchers should be having. Online resources which are available on the web. Some of them are some of them are costly, some of them are for free, and therefore they should be having a quickly. I will go through this, and after that we can have discussions. The first thing is that about the writing softwares, about Microsoft. Most of you know what the Microsoft Word is all about, and this is a tool in the for writing, and most of you use it. But if it is on the online, then it is for free. Otherwise you have to pay. And then latex is there. This is again a typesetting system, mostly useful for scientific writing. It is very useful, and these are the links which are given here. And then OpenOffice is again is a free and open source writing software, which you can utilize. Very few people, I think, might be aware that you don't have to pay anything for OpenOffice, and it is again very ideal for people who don't want to spend money on MS Office site license. And LibreOffice is again free open office. So this is, you can find it on the web. Scrivener, it is not free, and you have to pay some amount for this, and you can again utilize it for writing software. Google Document is very important, and I don't know how many of you utilize it. Google Document for collaborative research means, suppose you 2-3 persons are working on a particular topic, and through Google Document you can share whatever you are writing, and then collaborate. For collaboration is a very useful opportunity through Google Documents, that you can collaboratively write a research work on a single document. You can share it on the web. And then it's a Dropbox Paper. It's a web-based document editing service developed by Dropbox, and similar to Google Document. And now these are for grammar checker on whatever you write on paper or research paper, your thesis. The grammar checking softwares are there on Microsoft Office. Now there are very useful provisions for spelling and grammar checkers, which is turned by default use for spelling and grammar checkers, and they are certainly very useful, and some of you might have seen it also. Grammarly is a English grammar correction app, which is again very useful. You can utilize it, pro writing it or correct English, or these kind of apps and softwares which are available on the web. You can utilize them for checking the grammar of your writing. Style Writer, White Smoke, these are Ginger. These then apart from that, there are certain 4 other online grammar checking sites available. So there are huge number of such online sites from where you can utilize either for writing purpose free softwares or for grammar checking. And then this for reference management, Dr. Ashish Sharmaji took a session on the reference management softwares. I have seen that most of us actually waste huge amount of time managing references, and it becomes, and still many people commit mistakes. But there are very good reference management softwares available. Some of them are free, most of them are free, which you can utilize for properly managing your references. And these are very useful. You can utilize this RefWorks, Zotero, that about 2 reference management system Professor Dr. Ashish Sharma told you about. But there are something about Mendeley he said, and then Citavi, Paperpile, Jav reference, papers, and dossier, and Node. These are all reference management systems, and they give you useful opportunities to refine your work. Even for some of them, help you to paraphrase your work also. Means suppose a particular sentence you have written, and then it gives you so many other options about how that particular sentence can be written in how many ways, and it can search through number of references also, and then find you that this particular line can be written in these ways also in scholarly writing. So they are very useful. You can try out from then download from the web. And then research networking tool about the Google Scholar. Many of you might have been have enrolled in the Google Scholar. It allows you to search for academic literature, articles, journals, and so many other resources. And you should be a member as a researcher. It helps you compute your H score. That is very important. And I think I-10 score also it gives you. So that way Google Scholar is very important. If you are a researcher, get yourself enrolled, and then it helps you find out whether your co-authors of any article has published a new article. And then ResearchGate is a kind of social networking site for you, and you can socialize through this social ResearchGate network, and you can ask your fellow researchers across the world for new articles which they might have published, copies of which you can't buy, and you can ask them to give you a copy. So this kind of social networking site for ResearchGate is very important. And plagiarism detecting software, there are huge numbers of plagiarism detecting software. The one which we use in IGNOU is Urkund, and that is as per UGC website. Shuddhi also, they have prescribed this Urkund software for all the universities. So it is basically institutional software which your organization can take and you have to pay for, your organization has to pay for that. But that is very useful software, and you can go to UGC's website on Shuddhi, which was inaugurated last year in September by Minister. And but apart from that, there are several other softwares available on the web, and some of them are free, but most of them are not free, and you can utilize them also. Project management tools, I will skip those slides. And so with this, I finished my presentation. And I think some of you might have found my presentation useful. I'm very sure, because I have seen that people generally face problems in about the copyright issues. They are generally under tremendous anxiety under tremendous anxiety that their work might have been, they will be held responsible for citing somebody else's copyright work or something like that. There's not enough clarity on this. But I think in this kind of scenario, this Creative Commons license makes a lot of sense to you. There are huge repositories, good quality material, because if you see this open educational resources, they have been built up by the people over a period of time, and they are quality material. And they are, I think, the best quality material available on the web. So you should utilize those resources for yourself. And now I request, I go get back to the organizers, but through organizers, I would like to request other resource person here, Dr. Pankaj Khare, to fill up some gaps which might have been there in my presentation. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. It was enlightening to listen to you. And me also, as doing research from the last 10 odd years, was not very much aware about the open educational resources, as well as some of the licensing issues which you have discussed. So I think it will be far beneficial for all the research scholars and teachers to know. And now I request Dr. Pankaj Khare, sir, Registrar, Central University of Punjab, an educational visionary of nearly 31 years promoting higher learning. Sir has been on various positions in Indira Gandhi National Open University. Sir was Registrar, Student Registration Division, Indira Gandhi National Open University, Director, International Division, Indira Gandhi National Open University, Deputy Director, International Division, Indira Gandhi National Open University, Program Officer, Commonwealth Education Media, Center for Asia, Commonwealth of Learning, New Delhi. Now I request Dr. Khare sir to please compliment and add up to what Umesh Pandey sir has said. Dr. Khare.
धन्यवाद संजीव जी। मैं सबसे पहले डॉक्टर उमेश चंद्र पांडे जी को एक बहुत ही बेहतरीन प्रेजेंटेशन की बधाई देना चाहता हूँ। मुझे नहीं लगता कि उन्होंने कोई सा भी स्टोन अनटर्न छोड़ा हो। बहुत ही बेहतरीन तरीके से सारी चीजें की। कुछ चीजें जरूर मिक्सअप हो रही थी, जैसे कि ओपन एजुकेशन रिसोर्सेज और ओपन एंड फ्री सॉफ्टवेयर्स। वी कॉल इट द फ्री एंड लाइसेंस्ड ओपन सोर्स सॉफ्टवेयर, फ्लॉस। तो ये दोनों अलग अलग हैं। ओपन एजुकेशन रिसोर्सेज एक कंटेंट से रिलेटेड है, सॉफ्टवेयर है वो एप्लीकेशन से रिलेटेड है। तो दोनों के बीच में एक क्लियर कट डिफरेंस रखा जाए तो बेहतर होगा, पहली चीज। दूसरे मैं आप लोग जब इनका प्रेजेंटेशन चल रहा था उमेश जी का, तो बीच में कुछ प्रश्न आ रहे थे और एक आध प्रश्न काफी महत्वपूर्ण विषय के हैं, जिसमें से एक है डॉक्टर रमेंद्र कुमार गुप्ता जी का। he asked is translation of content matter a type of deliberative work in context of copyright and plagiarism? ट्रांसलेशन कर रहे हैं तो वो फ्रीली अवेलेबल है कि नहीं है, और उस पर प्लेगरिज्म और कॉपीराइट का क्या इशू होगा। हालांकि मैंने उनको ऑफलाइन जरूर जवाब दे दिया कि ये इस पे निर्भर करता है कि ओरिजिनल वर्क में कॉपीराइट इश्यूज क्या हैं। अगर कॉपीराइट रेस्ट्रिक्टेड है और उसमें लिखा है कि इस कार्य का कोई भी भाग ना ही फोटोकॉपी किया जाए, ना ही ट्रांसलेट किया जाए, ना ही डिस्ट्रीब्यूट किया जाए, तो वो काफी रेस्ट्रिक्टेड कॉपीराइट है और उस केस में आपको ट्रांसलेट करने के लिए परमिशन लेने की आवश्यकता है। बगैर उसके अगर आप लेंगे तो वो डेफिनेटली प्लेगरिज्म का एक पार्ट होगा। गुप्ता जी ने ही एक और प्रश्न पूछा था, अकॉर्डिंग टू कंस्ट्रक्टिव थ्योरी knowledge is constructed and construction of knowledge is social process, so there should be no copyright on knowledge. एक कमेंट है उनका, मैंने उनको जो जवाब दिया वो साधारण सा जवाब दिया कि आप एक सोशल स्ट्रक्चर में रहते हैं, एक सोसाइटी में रहते हैं, जमीन खरीदते हैं और एक मकान बनाते हैं। वो मकान में आप ही रहते हो, वो आपका अधिकार पहला बनता है। ये नहीं कि चूंकि वो सोशल स्ट्रक्चर में आपने मकान बनाया है तो कोई भी आके उसमें फ्रीली रहने लगे कि ये तो आपका सोशल ऑब्लिगेशन है, आपने मकान बनाया है तो हम भी रह सकते हैं। इट्स नॉट दैट ट्रू. One needs to look into that, how much permission you can accord. You can give it on rent. You can also permit people to do like धर्मशाला हम लोग बनवाते हैं और उसमें लोग आके फ्रीली रहते हैं। तो एक ये सबसे बड़ा प्रश्न निकल के आता है। एक और बड़ा प्रश्न निकल के आता है कि हम OER कैसे क्रिएट करें। OER को डिफाइन कर दिया, लाइसेंसिंग सिस्टम बता दिया, पर OER वास्तव में कैसे डेवलप करें, प्रश्न थोड़ा सा अपने आप को अलग हटाता है। The OER is nothing but it's a simple content. It is the knowledge, as जैसा डॉक्टर पांडे ने कहा कि आप नॉलेज क्रिएट कर रहे हो। अब उसको यूटिलाइज करने के लिए आप कितने अधिकार दूसरों को देना चाहते हो, कितने हद तक देना चाहते हो, क्या आप उसको कॉमर्शियल पर्पसेस के लिए देना चाहते हो, अडॉप्शन के लिए देना चाहते हो, ट्रांसलेशन के लिए देना चाहते हो, ये आप पर निर्भर करता है। तो OER एक विधा है। OER को करने के लिए नॉर्मल कंटेंट्स हम उसमें डालते हैं। ये जैसे MHRD की स्वयं और स्वयं प्रभा है, जिसमें ये कहा जाता है कि आप OER के वीडियोस बना के, मूक वीडियोस बना के डालिए। तो वो एक स्पेसिफिक पर्पस के लिए आप कंटेंट को वीडियोस में कन्वर्ट करते हो, वो वीडियो कंटेंट्स हैं और उनको स्वयं पे डालते हो जो फ्रीली लोगों को अवेलेबल हैं। ये एक दो चीजें जो थी मुझे मुख्य रूप से कहने की लगा कि उमेश जी की जो बातें हैं उनको आगे बढ़ाया जाए और उस पर खोला जाए। आगे एक आध जगह शायद मुझे लगा कि मुझे और इंटरवीन करना चाहिए। सबसे बड़ा रिसर्चर्स और इवन हम टीचर्स के बीच में भी एक प्रश्न रहता है कि मैं किसी भी कंटेंट को गूगल में कैसे सर्च करूं जो कि OER के अंतर्गत कवर्ड हो, गूगल में या किसी भी मेटा सर्च इंजन। मेटा सर्च इंजन कुछ नहीं है, सर्च इंजन। किसी ने एक प्रश्न भी पूछा है कि वेब पेजेस और सर्च इंजन में क्या फर्क है। सर्च इंजन एक तरह का वेब पेज है जिसमें आप तरह तरह की चीजें ढूंढ सकते हैं। मैं कोशिश करता हूं आप लोगों को अपना शेयर स्क्रीन करके एक गूगल सर्च का उदाहरण पेश करने के लिए कि किस तरह से आप इसमें कर सकते हैं, अगर मैं शेयर कर पाया तो बेसिकली अगर आप जाएंगे तो आपको दिखेगा, गिव मी अ सेकेंड सो दैट आई कैन शेयर द स्क्रीन, 1 सेकेंड। हाँ, एक इस बीच में जब तक वो शेयर हो रहा है मैं कोशिश करूंगा कि एक आध चीजें और भी मैं बता सकूं। ये जो 5 C's बताए थे उसमें रोबस्ट और रिन्यूएबल भी हैं, जो उमेश जी को जोड़ना चाहिए थे। रिटेन, रीयूज, रिवाइज, रिमिक्स, रीडिस्ट्रीब्यूट, रोबस्ट एंड रिन्यूएबल, these are the contents which one can use as a 7 R's. And also there are provisions of 9 C's, that is conceptualize, capture, create, communicate, collaborate, consider, consolidate, collate, etc. मैं अपना ब्राउजर ओपन करके आपको कोशिश करता हूं कि मैं थोड़ा सा आपको दिखा सकूं। Am I able to share my screen? Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We are able to see the screen, sir.
Okay. I'm trying to open my browser. नेट की थोड़ी सी प्रॉब्लम है। टेक्नोलॉजी OERs की जब हम बात करते हैं तो टेक्नोलॉजी भी एक कंसर्न होता है जो कि देखना बहुत आवश्यक है कि किस स्थिति में उसको देखा जाए। मुझे नहीं लग रहा कि मेरा ब्राउजर बिकॉज ऑफ these things it is able to anyways मैं बगैर उसके बताए आपको प्रयास करता हूं कि गूगल वेबसाइट पे जाइए। गूगल वेबसाइट पे आप नीचे जो लिखा होता है ऑल इमेजेस, मैप्स, न्यूज, उसमें इमेजेस वाले को पिक करिए इमेजेस वाले को पिक करने के बाद राइट हैंड साइड में टूल्स लिखा होगा। जब आप उसको टूल्स को क्लिक करेंगे तो आपको नीचे दिखेंगे, उसमें यूजर्स राइट्स भी लिखा है एक चौथे नंबर पे या तीसरे नंबर पे। आप वहां से ले सकते हैं लेबल्ड विथ रीयूजेस और अडॉप्शन और मिक्स लाइक दैट। आई एम सॉरी आई कुड नॉट शेयर माय स्क्रीन, सो मैं आपको डेमोन्स्ट्रेट नहीं कर पाया। तो ये कुछ चीजें हैं जो मैं चाहता था कि उमेश जी के जो लेक्चर था उसमें और एड ऑन हो जाए, ताकि आप हैंड्स ऑन भी उस पर कुछ कर सकें। आप लोगों का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद मुझे अपॉर्चुनिटी देने के लिए। और जो संजीव महाजन जी कह रहे थे, सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटी पंजाब मैंने 2016 में छोड़ दी थी, आजकल मैं डायरेक्टर प्लानिंग इंदिरा गांधी नेशनल यूनिवर्सिटी। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you very much, sir. Actually, the CV which was just reached to me was saying that the present status is this, and I'm really grateful and thankful to you, sir, that you are with us as an expert as far as IGNOU is concerned, sir. Now, I also have one question as a researcher, and because nobody from my institution is right there, so I'm daring to ask this question. You know, sometimes because I'm serving in a government institution, and there are so many issues that we are not able to. For example, I want to search ResearchGate, I want to go with Google Scholar, but they say that you need to have an institutional IDs for that. So can I as individual also work on ResearchGate? Can I go on with that, sir?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, I think there, yeah, because the only thing you need is a Google Gmail ID for this. I think Dr. Pankaj Khare will agree with me.
अच्छा, मैं उसमें और आगे बढ़ा देता हूँ। आप दो तरह की चीजें होती हैं। इंस्टीट्यूशनल रिक्वायरमेंट आजकल चली है जब से ये एपीआई वाला का कंसेप्ट आया है। एपीआई के कंसेप्ट में वो चाहते हैं कि आपका साइटेशन इंडेक्स, एच इंडेक्स, आई इंडेक्स ये निकाल के दीजिए। कुछ चीजें होती हैं जो केवल साइंस वालों के लिए संबंधित हैं, पर वो तो भी प्रयास करते हैं कि वो ह्यूमैनिटीज और सोशल साइंसेज वाले भी करके दें। पर्टिकुलरली एच इंडेक्स की जब हम बात करते हैं, साइटेशन इज वेरी कॉमन। और इसी तरह से यूजीसी वेबसाइट में जो लिस्टिंग है, विदाउट गोइंग इनटू डिटेल्स ऑफ दैट, one can always upload their work on Google Scholar as individual person. जैसे उमेश जी ने कहा, अपना जीमेल अकाउंट खोल लीजिए और उसमें आप अपने Google Scholar में डाल सकते हैं। जब भी कोई उसको रेफर बैक करता है और आपके साइटेशन उससे बढ़ते चले जाएंगे, जैसे जैसे आपके पेपर को दूसरे लोग यूज करते हैं, तो वो एक आपको स्वतः सुखाए वाला सेल्फ सेटिस्फेक्शन के लिए गूगल स्कॉलर मिल रहा है। इंस्टीट्यूशनल पर्पसेस के लिए जब जरूरत होगी, जब वो आपसे कहेंगे कि एपीआई बताएं, और एपीआई निकालने के लिए वो कहेंगे कि आपने इंस्टीट्यूशनल गूगल स्कॉलर या रिसर्चगेट को यूज नहीं किया, इसलिए हम उसको मान्यता नहीं देते। वो गलत है। आप अपना ईमेल और वो डिटेल्स दे दीजिए। और इंस्टीट्यूशन इग्नू में हम प्रिसाइसली यही कर रहे हैं कि इंडिविजुअल अकाउंट्स को हम चेक कर रहे हैं एपीआई कैलकुलेट करने के लिए। तो यू कैन वेरी वेल गो फॉर योर इंडिविजुअल गूगल स्कॉलर। I have uploaded all my 40 papers on that Google Scholar, and on regular interval I check it, how it is behaving, how many papers are read by people, and I have subscribed it, so मुझे मोबाइल पे भी खबर मिलती रहती है कि किसी ने आज मेरा पेपर पढ़ा या किसी ने नया पेपर पब्लिश किया जिसमें मेरा रेफरेंसेस है। तो you can very well do that.
That goes same for ResearchGate also. Suppose I want to see article on ResearchGate, can I go on with my individual email ID of Gmail, sir?
Yes.
Certainly, why not? You can. Nobody stops you.
One or two more questions. I think you have answered all, sir. One is coming, sir. One thing I want to know: except Shodh Ganga, what are the authentic web resources for PhD thesis, sir?
Hello.
Yeah.
Acha, yes. There are so many repositories available across the world, and which are quite credible repositories, and thousands of such repositories are there, and you can refer to those institutional repositories for good quality content available. And as far as Shodh Ganga is concerned, I think that it constitutes only for the PhD theses and all, but in other countries also you can find such PhD theses in different institutions' website, so you can search them through websites. This is what I have also been doing.
One more I'll take up, sir. Please highlight some plagiarism softwares also.
highlights of plagiarism software. There are different. I displayed a list of such plagiarism detecting softwares which are there on the website. And as far as UGC's InflipNet, on InflipNet also there is a शोध शुद्धि करके वहां पर एक वेबसाइट है जिसमें उरकुंड के बारे में लिखा हुआ है. हर एक इंस्टीट्यूशन उरकुंड की मेंबरशिप ले सकता है. कुछ समय पहले जब मैंने उनकी एक वेबिनार अटेंड की थी तो वो बता रहे थे उनके पास काफी सारे कनेक्शंस अभी भी हैं जो कि वो डिफरेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस को देना चाहते हैं. एंड उसका पूरा पोटेंशियल अभी इस तरीके से यूज भी नहीं हुआ है. सो उरकुंड की मेंबरशिप हर एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को लेनी चाहिए. वो हर एक व्यक्ति जो यहाँ है वो अपने ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को कांटेक्ट कर ले कि वो उरकुंड के मेंबरशिप ले, क्योंकि वो यूजीसी से प्रिस्क्राइब्ड है और उसको गवर्नमेंट ने अभी कुछ समय पहले सितंबर 2019 में इनॉग्रेट किया था. तो दैट इज समथिंग व्हिच आई वुड लाइक टू suggest that Urkund is, because in IGNOU also we are also using Urkund for plagiarism detecting softwares.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Before I request the rapporteur for the present session to please deliver vote of thanks, I'll request Dr. Saklani sir, Dr. Chaturvedi sir, if sir I'm not able to locate, sir has lost the connection, and Dr. Saklani sir to please give his observations. Saklani sir.
Dr. UC Pandey's lecture was very informative and thought-provoking as well. And there were very useful interventions by Dr. Pankaj Khare, which were equally educative while he was responding to the questions and answers. Dr. Pandey has thrown in very pertinent issues, whether knowledge should be the exclusive preserve of a scholar or the society per se should own that knowledge, it should be for the public good. You have informed the licensing framework, and as you rightly said, it's for the researcher to make a discerning eye. There is a sea of knowledge before him, but then copyright issues are important. And unfortunately, as it has been pointed out by you in earlier lectures also, plagiarism from internet sources is becoming a major problem, physically lifting things. But then, as you pointed out, that the licensing framework is there, and in fact, it has been a very learning exercise for the participants today. And you have also pointed out, educated us on the reference management tools, and networking tools, and various other ways of getting into it. Thank you so much, sir. And thank you, Dr. Pankaj Khare, sir, for complimenting and enlightening us on this very important area.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Now I request Yogita, the rapporteur for the present session, to please deliver the vote of thanks. Yogita.
Thank you, sir. As research is the distance between an idea and its realization, sir, by your valuable and informative session, this distance can be covered in an effective way. I'm sure all the research scholars and participants get benefited by your lecture, includes especially the Creative Commons licensing system, the benefits of using OER, search engines for finding OERs, and grammar checker and sentence checker tools, and etc. We have come to the end of a memorable 7-day national workshop on research methodology. We are honored and privileged to have Dr. Umesh Pandey sir and Pankaj Khare sir here on behalf of IGNOU Regional Center Noida, NS College Meerut, convener Dr. Sanjeev Mahajan, and all gathered here. Our heartfelt thanks to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Yogita. Again, on behalf of IGNOU Regional Center and NAS College Meerut, I am really thankful to Dr. Umesh Pandey ji for his insightful and thought-provoking lecture. And I hope that from now, the students, the research scholars will be, taking a lot of interest in creative licenses and open educational resources. From the deep core of my heart, I'm also thankful to Dr. Pankaj Khare ji for his insightful and complimenting lectures which he has given, the thoughts which he has shared with us, the answers which he has given to the participants, and also some of my queries, because before the start of this workshop only I was trying to search up research gate and all, and sir has beautifully answered to some of my queries. I hope that once we are over with the workshop today itself, I'll start up with Google Scholar and put some of my articles on Google Scholar and try to get their citation, so that it gives me that feeling which Pankaj Khare sir is enjoying. And I'll also get a chance now to look on the 40 articles which Khare sir has written, and will try to read and quote them in my further researches. I'm really thankful from the deep core of my heart to Pankaj Khare sir as well as Dr. Umesh Pandey sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
And so from our side also, Dr. Sanjeev Mahajan and Yogita ji for nice organization and nicely doing things. Thank you very much, and thanks to all 200 participants.
Thank you, sir, and thank you. In near future also, I would love, sir, I'll arrange, one lecture of yours, especially on the research, to the research students on this licensing and, the referencing issues, so that they can all be benefited, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Master is Dr. Umesh Pandey.
Yes, sir. I'll request both of you to, accompany, sir.
Sure, I will be always there. And last minute में आपने मुझे opportunity दी, उसके लिए तो बहुत ही बहुत धन्यवाद.
Sir,
I was tempted after talking to Umesh.
Yeah.
I was tempted to participate this wonderful lecture,
Sir.
and that is why thank you very much for giving me just 5 minutes before I received your mail.
Yeah.
And I'm able to see all these things. I left another webinar which I was attending. I thought that this is much more important than COVID-19 and other issues.
Okay, thank you very much.
I am thankful that, in a short notice of 5 minutes, you accepted our invitation and you were with us. And sir, we expect that this will continue, because, we are budding researchers and we need some proper guidance as far as these research issues are concerned.
Most certainly.
Thank you,
Most
sir. Thank you
welcome.
very much, sir. Thank you.
Most welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.